Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here. So let me show you a couple things. I had a commenter on one of my LED videos. It was Chinese LED versus CREE XHP70.2. And in that video, in one of those videos, they commented that the XHP160s were incredibly bright and super good. Well, I thought, yeah, I've worked with enough Chinese LEDs to know that that's probably not true. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to buy a couple of those lights. So I did. I got on AliExpress where I could find them for a little cheaper, you know, about 10, 15 bucks cheaper than I could, like, say, on eBay. And here it is. I bought two of them. I have since put brand new 21700 cells, which I've got several charging back here. So here they are. These are for some battery packs I'm going to build. They are 5,000 milliamp hour cells, 2C discharge for about 10 amps per cell. They say on there that they're Model 3 NCR 21700 cells. Anyway, I have about 800 of these things that are brand new. You know, literally, this is the first time these cells have ever been charged. And I have 5 of them sent over here and a couple of chargers. And then I have 4 of them that charged in these flashlights. So both of these lights have been charged less than an hour to full. You know, the LEDs on here, they do this little, you know, spinning pattern as things are charging, and then they turn off, I think it is, or they just go solid. I forget which one it is, when the cells are fully charged. So anyway, fully charged, been that way for a very short amount of time. What I did initially was I just took some of these cells that had never been charged. You know, they're sitting at their ambient like 3.6 volts, dropped a couple of them in one of the flashlights, turned it on and went, well, that's not that impressive. You know, it just wasn't that bright. I'm very familiar with what happens when I overdrive an XHP70.2, and I was pretty sure it wasn't that bright, you know, as an overdriven XHP70.2. So anyway, I thought, you know what, let's charge some cells up to full, and then we'll look, because that way you're going to get more voltage, you're probably going to have a little bit better current draw, less sag, things like that. So I did. And so both these flashlights have brand spanking new 21700s in them. That are fully charged, you know, using their little USB or mini or whatever it is, micro USB port that's on here. Yeah, there we go. You can see it for charging, and it actually did pretty good. According to my USB wall brick, it said they were charging at 1.3, 1.4 amps for nearly the entire charge cycle. So that was pretty decent. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, I bought these things with a high level of skepticism, and I have to say that I have not been proven wrong so far. Let me turn a flashlight on in here, and hopefully we can see inside that bad boy. Yeah, without blinding you. Okay, so what you're seeing in there is an enormously egg-shaped dome over 16 about like XML-sized elements in there. They have a fairly large gap between the elements, so, you know, density is not that great. And the die is probably 13 millimeters by 13 millimeters just looking at it. And that is also through a lens, so it may not actually be that big. So it's kind of hard to say really how big it is. But the dome over the LEDs is very, very egg-shaped. It's not a dome per se, you know, where all sides are equidistant from the center, because that's definitely not that way. So anyway, that's the light. So the other thing I'm going to show you here. This is a flash that I've had for a number of years. I believe it was made by Ultrafire, but the silk screening on it has long since worn off. There's not much left. Anyway, it originally had a Chinese XHP70 in it, and I have replaced it with that right there, which is legit CREE XHP70.2. The upside is without overdriving, doing anything other than reflowing a legit CREE LED onto the Chinese driver board, I got about 20-25% more light out of the flashlight. And it's been that way for a long time. By the way, the 18650 cells in here haven't been charged in 2 years. So this flashlight is not at 100% charge. Okay, so in my last video, I did a comparison between this flashlight with its not overdriven XHP70.2 and not fully charged 18650s versus one of these guys. And in that video, it's pretty obvious that this thing is about 2 times brighter than this is, but that's all. And yet, This is 16 LED elements of the same size that there's 4 of in here. And this isn't overdriven, and it's on probably thoroughly depleted cells, 18650s, that haven't been charged in a couple of years. So I would say that it's not even a fair comparison, because this isn't even running at full power, full voltage, and this is. And yet this was only 50% the brightness of this thing. This XHP160 has got a 4-to-1 advantage over the legit CREE that is not overdriven on weak batteries. I'm just going to say, yeah, China, your LEDs still suck. So anyway, cool lights, and if you have nothing to compare against, yeah, it's still bright. And would I use this flashlight as is? Sure, I would. It's plenty of bright. It throws enough light out there. But is it a CREE LED? Well, hell no, not even close. It's a distant cousin. So yeah, they're cool. The hosts are nicely made. I can't really complain about like build quality, any more than I can complain about the build quality of this. That's pretty good too. It's all machined aluminum. It's decently anodized, so on and so forth. But are they impressively bright? No. It should be blowing this thing away like 4 times brighter. An undriven 70.2, and it's just not even there. It's just twice as bright. So yeah, not impressive, guys. So the next thing is going to happen here, and I am building this right now. I have a couple of headlights that I'm building for a friend, and they are going to be XHP70.2s. They're going to be properly overdriven using a Castle Creations 15 amp Beck 2.0. So anyway, each one of the lights will get its own Beck as its driver, and they will be overdriven. And once I have them, set at the right voltage and brightness that I think is going to be nice and stable, then I will do another comparison between a properly overdriven XHP70.2, 4 elements, versus one of these things. And I'm just going to throw it out there right now. Here's the challenge, throwing down the gauntlet, that the XHP70.2 is going to rock this thing's world. It's going to totally be brighter. Or, worst case scenario, equal, but not less bright. Not fully charged, not overdriven, and half as bright. So yeah, a properly driven 70.2 is going to knock this off its feet, period. Yeah, once again, still not convinced that Chinese LEDs are great, because they're not. They are a far distant second cousin of your grandma's dog when it comes to quality of LEDs. Oh, and by the way, these make blue light, versus this one, which makes, a slightly yellowish hue to it, like the sun does. Because you can buy legit CREE LEDs in whatever color you want. The bins are just crazy how many you can have for different light colors. So that's like a 43K light, whereas this is like a 56, 58K light, or 5600K. I'm saying it wrong. But yeah, I'm still not impressed. They're very blue. That's typical for Chinese lights, and they're just not that bright. Well, this is De-bodgery saying, hey folks, watch out for that damn SARS virus. Don't let your body get sick with COVID-19. Be nice to each other. Don't be assholes. Treat each other with respect and courtesy. Take care. Bye.